So welcome in game one, Unknown Player versus Reilled. We are here on Watershed. And interesting Civ matchup. I don't know if I've ever seen these Civs play each other before, but it's going to be the Wu for Reilled, which I did kind of call. I think they're probably not great on this map, but maybe I'll be proven wrong here. It's the Muisca for Unknown Player. And really good job here by Reilled. Catches a villager out super early and kills her dead, trying to get the first dock up. That's a good start. Wu, they don't really have... They have an okay dock. And they have quite good Lushuans because of Sitting Tiger. Muisca, I have no idea what their dock looks like. It's pretty bad. They don't get it fast fire ship or the fire upgrades. They don't get the second armor. But I mean, they have some options. So the Muisca is a civ that I'm actually quite high on. I think they're a little bit underrated, maybe. Maybe not on this map, or maybe this is a rough civ matchup, actually. The Wu kind of need to go infantry. Foot archers are usually not the play in DM, so usually infantry is kind of a go-to, I think, for the Wu. Maybe they can go Guang, but that's pretty bad. We also have the most loud unit in the game, these temple guards. So if I need to turn the volume down, let me know. But temple guards, notoriously not the best unit against infantry, so I don't think this fight is going to go super well. Muisca have an interesting unit composition, though, where they have the temple guard, which do great versus... They do well versus cavalry, they're counter units versus cavalry, and they do amazingly against elephants. They're kind of like a hard counter to elephants, I think, which is maybe where the Muisca's niche can lie. They have the Guaitias, which are a bit of generalist units, but they're especially quite good against infantry. So I think going heavy into the Guaitia is a good play here in particular. And then they have quite good siege. They have quite good siege. Fully upgraded. They don't get siege ram or bombard cannon, obviously, but fully upgraded SO and scorpions feels good. No docks here for Unknown Player. After the initial villager was sniped, feels a bit bad. But Navy, especially full Lushuan, can just die to land. So maybe Unknown Player can survive this. First castle might go down, though. Decent shots with the onagers, but the souped up Wu Lushuans are taking them down as well. Learning? I guess I know more than I'm able to implement, so I'm maybe not the worst person to listen to trying to learn DM, but I'm not the best either. Temple Guard isn't the play here? I don't think so, no. I think a couple Temple Guard early is not the end of the world. The Wu can go Guang here, which they'd be good against, but once you see the infantry coming in, Temple Guard really do not do well against anything that's not cavalry, so I think you have to quite quickly switch out. But we're still heavy into the Temple Guard. No Guaitias, which I think have to be the play here. Unknown Player, maybe... I mean, drafted the Muisca, so should know what the Muisca can do, right? Theoretically. They're a difficult civ if you haven't practiced with them. Because they're a very heavy counter civ, right? They're sort of like the Byzantines in that a lot of what they're doing is trying to counter their opponents, so you have to very well know what the Muisca can do to counter effectively. I guess Temple Guard probably are okay against Navy once they get in. So Lushuans do have to be a little bit careful, but with the champions around... Man, this is sad. It's full infantry, so the Guaitia would actually be so good here. We are getting some siege coming in now for the Wu, for Reilled. don't actually know. Yeah, no siege engineers. It's quite bad siege for the Wu, all things considered. They have the traction trebuchets, which are kind of OP in certain situations, but otherwise it's not the best. I think maybe just full Guatia could have been fine here. But first castle falls. There's only one left for up, though plenty of stone in the bank. Up has the eco lead as well, by the way, which is nice. Reilled a little bit. I mean, there's some idle TC time here, but I guess it was just kind of late with the TCs. We were mostly looking at up space, but it's not the cleanest opening base. It's very, like, blown up, not compact for Reilled. So it can slow down the early boom a little bit there. Temple Guard trying to charge out. And there's not too much infantry here, so they're actually getting decent value in against the traction trebuchets and a couple scorpions that are out. Capped rams. Again, no siege ram for the Muisca. Might almost take this castle out before it goes up. Not quite, though. Look at that. Very close to taking it out. And it feels like up doesn't quite know what to do. I do like this, though. Has redocked and has defended the docks. There's only 4 Lushuans left on the field for Reilled, and these are expensive units. So losing a dozen Lushuan is pretty rough. Ooh, a singular champion is hunting down these villagers, though. We need to activate the navy. And try and get our foothold up down here. Okay, I think this will be fine. At the front, traction trebs will do very well against all this siege. Maybe traction trebs are just really good against the Muisca, actually. What's the answer to traction trebuchets for the Muisca? I actually don't know. Traction trebs are kind of anti-siege units, right? The Muisca don't really have anything to run in and snipe with. Chompy? Oof. But yeah, I guess you're right. That's about the fastest unit the Muisca have, I guess. I don't quite know if... Is a Guatia faster than a Chompy? I actually don't know, but I guess that is the answer. They still die to the champions, but it is what it is. Reilled has fought back on water, some Caracs of his own. And the expansion will be denied for UnknownPlayer. Up says, thanks, Otter. Water. Ooh, is this some behind the scenes? Is he just saying Otter, like, rigged the water maps in? Or was this some sort of... Surely this wasn't a strategy that Otter cooked up with the Muisca on this map, right? Alright, welcome in Game 2, UnknownPlayer versus Reilled. Here in Division 10, we are on good old Savannah. It is the Huns for Reilled, and it is going to be the Koreans. Koreans here for up. Interesting. Okay, that makes things maybe a bit more clear going forward. As I said, Koreans are good everywhere. They theoretically counter the Huns long-term really nicely. It's not even theoretical, actually. I think they just straight up do counter the Huns long-term, but the Huns' main strength comes from their rush. Not needing to make the houses means they get their production buildings up much faster. Stables also just straight up work faster for the Huns, so it's a really quick rush. I think they're probably the second fastest civ, depending on how you feel about the Goths. So we'll see if UnknownPlayer can weather the storm. Does save a villager there. Nice boxing in by the Halbs. As Reilled going for a cheeky forward castle in the middle up on these hills. That can be very strong on Savannah. just to get fortifications up on these. There's usually a hill in between you and your opponent, and it's a good position to take. Especially if you have the faster civ. TC's for Reilled. Still a little too far away from the TC, the production buildings. So I think there's opportunity here. If anyone from Division 10 is still listening in, I think there's possibility to really hit Reilled with raids. Look at all these villagers far away from the TC without any cover. Obviously, with the Huns, pressure is probably not going to be in your base, though. That's already 6 villagers down. Yeah, I think the Huns have just completely crushed UnknownPlayer, unfortunately. Villagers coming out of the TC. Alb's trying to keep up, but Cav archers are now coming in. The chicken, it's not quite a chicken castle. It's a little too far away, but the castle really needs to go up, but another villager gets sniped. Up is down to 2 villagers. 11 have been killed. Get the castle up quickly. I also think I said this. Did I say this on stream or in chat? Up might lose his last 2 villagers here, unfortunately. He loses 1. Tough. Really tough. Rocket Cart, Halb, and War Wagon is kind of the Korean death ball. And it would do really nicely against the Huns, but you need to actually get the death ball on the field. Another vill goes down. 0 villagers for UnknownPlayer on the field right now. Castle is up. 4 up. But Reilled is arriving with trebuchets now. And, well, I think it was just a quite good rush by Reilled. Have archers now, can hoover around the base. I have no idea. Okay, 2 villagers in the castle, but once that castle goes down, Up's just fully dead. Yeah, the GG has to be called. Good rush by Reilled. The Huns are really strong. I think they get banned out a lot, and for good reason. It's really tough to deal with this. Okay, this is not what I expected at all. But welcome into Game 3. Reilled versus Up. We are here on Akare. And both players know about and are getting their castles. That's great news. Khmer for Up, which I did anticipate. It's the Dravidians here for Reilled, which I did not anticipate. Because, well, I don't dislike the Whippy Boys, but they aren't necessarily the most meta unit in the game. So if your opponent's able to make ballista elephants out of their castles, their free castles, quote unquote, and you're making roomy swordsmen, it's not a great matchup for you. Still, Dravidians do have that strong... Ooh, we're going... Is this a classic Frost masterpiece, non-elite battle elephants for the Dravidians? Is that what we're seeing here? I think that's going to be really tough. Our opponent's going ballista elephants and probably scorpions. And then also elite battle elephants. And Reiled's going to go... We have 1 stable up, but I'm waiting to see what's produced here. Docks are going up at the front for Reilled, which is nice. Bit of a slow start for the Khmer. They don't get Treadmill Crane, so it takes them a while to get going, even with the free castles. Still some ballista elephants hanging out in the castles as well. They need to come out. Halbraid could deny a castle. Where are the ballista elephants? They're coming out now. Castle is denied briefly, but UnknownPlayer can get back on that. And, well, we've got heavy demos. Getting nice chunk damage in on the Flappy Boys. Got Woodsteel Halb, which are not the worst against the battle elephants, so they do get gunned down by the ballista elephants rather quickly. Siege Onshers behind. Also should do okay against the elephants. These demos were not quite as impressive as the first. We do indeed have the regular battle elephants. Ooh. Against the strictly better, I guess these things do benefit from Woot Steel, right? I assume they do, right? Cavalry attacks ignore armor, so I assume they do. It's not really something you have to think about very often because regular battle elephants are not ideal in DM, but you know what? If Frost can make it work, so can all of us, I'm sure. We've got Thuristidae on the field, but they will get gored down by the elephants. Demos! Get the job done against some ballista elephants trying to cross the water. Got cannon galleons out for Reilled now. They're also being chased around by the elephants. Another forward castle for up, trying to treb down the docks. We're going two-handed swordsman. Khmer two-handed swordsman. Not the best unit against elephants. Maybe a misclick. Might have just been a misclick instead of the halbs. That's fine. I think up just needs to go. There are some siege onagers here, but they're not really in the fight. Ballista elephants. Do ballista elephants also get bonus damage against? No. Okay. I would still like, I think, some scorpions, although the SO is a little spooky, I guess. But Halb getting melted. The Otarumi in here is also getting melted. SO come forward, but maybe a little bit too far forward. They're in the teeth of the elephants. Castle falls behind. But this is a really good fight for UnknownPlayer. And UnknownPlayer is losing Reilled is losing a lot. We'll lose. That was UnknownPlayer going for a very forward castle. The villagers get demoed behind for good measure after the foundation was already denied. Got cannon galleons filtering through the elephants, and there's no siege on the field. No SO means no answer to the ballista elephants. I think we just need to stay here up. We don't necessarily need to micro back and down. Keep the forward positioning. There's only one more treb. We can go for another forward castle if we want. The eco's not bad behind. Instead, it's going to be Reilled looking for another castle. Up's eco is looking a little tough, though. Buys food for quite heavy prices, to be honest. Andrew's getting decent shots. Underneath the castle now are the elephants. We need siege, but it's tough to when your main unit you're making comes out of the castle to also get the trebuchets out. Castle denied, and castle is actually killed. Foundation is killed for Reilled forward. It is going to be another forward castle for up. Meanwhile, by the way, Reilled playing the map. He's going to get the relics in the north. Has a castle up there as well. So long term will be alright as long as we can hold. I don't know if we need to go in here necessarily. I know I was asking up to push, but I think we can just wait for the trebs. They are on the way. I guess we're still taking okay fights in here. But we're going to start losing elephants to the castle, which I think is bad. Reilled playing this well is banking up the SO behind. And gets a couple decent shots off. Elephant numbers are waning for UnknownPlayer. Trebs have arrived. Demos sniped before they get anywhere, but big SO shots. Trebs are also getting slowly poked down by Halb. Repairs coming in clutch, and Reilled holds onto that castle. UnknownPlayer has to delete the castle yet again. Eco is getting better behind this, though. Khmer farms go burr. Denying Tangential resources here is nice. This is also nice. I don't know if Reilled has noticed this, but there's a couple elephants in his eco. And they are killing Vills. More Trebs, but we're sitting on the water and the demos bring down the Trebs. More SO now. I'm getting a little nervous for UnknownPlayer. TCs will eventually clear up these elephants. Still, there's nothing in queue for Reilled. The eco is really bad for Reilled, it's got to be said. There's no wood income at all. There's barely any food income and we're out of food. So there's not going to be too much more. There's a single siege elephant in the queue for Reilled. And I don't know if Dravidians are the play here, man. I like the Dravidians a lot, but we made a couple of Rumi, and that was like the only thing we used this map, right? It does still have all the relics, so maybe we can fix the eco a little bit here. Villager numbers are almost dead even right now. UnknownPlayer with almost a 9-to-1 military advantage, but it's just chilling out at home. Even has the siege, so I think we need to go right now. Go right now, but don't sit on the water in case more demos are around. We're going to snipe out the dock, okay. This is giving Reilled a lot of time. Chilling. Sometimes you just don't want to take a fight, man. Sometimes you just want to chill out. This is a big rush map, but sometimes you just want to be chill about it, man. Here comes up. Gave Reilled a lot of time, but there's not much more military on the field for Reilled. Good SO shots, though, and the Woot Steel champions will do very well against the Albadier. We've got regular Onager with siege engineers against the SO for Reilled. Trebs are here, though. I think they will take out the castle this time from Reilled. Becoming difficult to deal with the ballista elephants, but we do have some siege. Reilled has better map control, right? It's taking these tertiary resources. Another nice attack round by the SO. And again, the siege micro for Reilled really on point. Which is bad news bears for this division. Because that's a really good skill to have in DM, I found out, is good siege control. Is really, really good to have. Nice flick shots, though. This one two-handed swordsman is getting massive value. Up with a good, still a little bit too close to the water for my liking. You never know when demos are going to show up, but does have the forward position, has denied the main gold for Reilled, which he does have other resources to take, but still good. Taking out production buildings as well. Reilled thinking about bombard cannons now. We just need a military unit, though, as like bombard cannons are good to snipe this stuff, but we need something on the field. Champions are okay. They force the onagers to run away. But they only delay things briefly. I like this too, Reilled keeping an eye on the gold down here. So how is the gold looking for UnknownPlayer? Where are we taking all this gold from? Okay, we've got some back here. And is that it? I think we just ran out of a gold. Our numbers are decreasing. Castle on the hill, though, is being targeted for Reilled. And he is going to lose that castle on the hill. This is still not over, though, for Reilled. Having great control over the sides is so good for him. He's been able to take all this gold, despite being denied off of his main gold for most of the game. UnknownPlayer is pop-capped, though. Eco looking really good for up. Maybe a little overboomed if these villagers actually come out. Bombard cannon sniping the siege. Where's the military for up? Ooh, it's at home. Oh no, there's 8 onagers here and a bunch of halb. Banded swordsman raid. Actually getting good value. Krebs roll forward, but is there enough to defend them now? Bombard cannons are going to start sniping trebuchets as Up's trying to go for the other castle. And there are quite a few onagers here. It's been good onager micro so far for Up. Elephants have to be real careful. The military at home has been activated for UnknownPlayer. He found the onagers, but again, they're just onagers. All the trebs go down. This is actually a great game. Acre is a lot of lopsided games, but occasionally it just has a banger. It was a little passive in the sort of early game for Acre, but I think it's been played quite well. Otherwise, let's see if we can get some. There's only siege here, which is tough. UnknownPlayer is going to be routed. Loses the siege. Lots of res in the bank, but I think that overboom has indeed come to fruition a bit for UnknownPlayer. 143 villagers, still 25 in queue. So as these units are killed, gonna have even more of an overboom over time. Still, UnknownPlayer is expanding to more resources. Is this a gold? Okay, was taking gold from here, but both of these run out. So this is a very important gold pile, double gold pile for UnknownPlayer. We'll call this a raid. Ballista elephants and infantry roll into the back of Reilled's base. We have lost some of it to this castle, but villagers have died. And will continue to do so. Reilled apparently not noticing this because the Wood Steel Light Cav ignore the armor bonus of Loom. Let's go! Raiding the wood lines. Forces UnknownPlayer to send more infantry back here, but joke's actually on Reilled. UnknownPlayer needed to lose villagers. He's actually doing him a favor killing these villagers. Allows a bit more military to hit the field. Raids continue back here. Reilled has not noticed this. We lost everything here and everything on this TC. Is still not really noticing. Okay, does now. As we've got some pressure at the front. Castle falls for UnknownPlayer to mostly the bombard cannons. Krebs forward for UnknownPlayer. Might have enough two-handed swordsmen to guard them, which is a weird thing to say, but maybe. Krebs being sniped, though. Like, have continued to raid around the back. They deny a TC. They're still butchering villagers back here. UnknownPlayer still is maybe falling a little bit short on economy now. These elephants have just straight up killed this town center for Reilled. Reiled's got other problems, though. The Trebs have arrived again. Forward for UnknownPlayer. They've killed a TC. Reilled tried to get back on this main gold. That's not going to happen for the time being. Bombard cannons and siege do go forward again, though. Where's the army for UnknownPlayer? It's not here. These are expensive losses. Obviously still res in the bank for UnknownPlayer, but a lot of siege that goes down. More and more light cav getting thrown in here. I guess they're taking the circuitous route. They're crossing the river and then coming down. UnknownPlayer's economy idling out a bit. This TC does go up this time, but I don't know if UnknownPlayer is paying attention to garrison it. Reilled still just apparently doesn't care about this. Is just letting them be. Okay, siege is coming over now. Villagers trying to get onto the main gold are getting butchered by elephants. Only a couple Sorry, those are regular galleons, so no siege forward for unknown player. Still getting raided. Who's winning right now? I actually don't know. The siege does not clear up the elephants in the back of Reilled's base. Villager count ahead for unknown player, but he's not overboomed anymore. Players are trying to share gold. Long range. Random Trebs forward for Reilled, getting chased down by Halbs. I think unknown player is still in a good spot. Reilled is taking all of this, though. Elephants are finally cleared up in the back of Reilled's base. But Trebs are forward again. But where's the military with these Trebs? There's 20 military units on the field. 6 of them are trebuchets. And most of the rest are Khmer galleons. Which I guess aren't that bad. One player might get another castle. Champions, kind of tough to deal with though. Couple of Ballista Elephants, I don't think is going to be enough for this. They might come out here and clear every single trebuchet. More arrive. Castle. One more shot. No, it's going to stay up for now. Reilled has to pay attention to this stuff, though. I don't know if he's seen any of this. No, he hasn't looked down here at all. So, did see the dock. Be really good if Reilled noticed this and denied what's left of the gold down here. I guess there's not that much, though. Castle for Reilled. No military protection at all, though. Is going to lose villagers at the base of this castle to the galleons. Fast fire ships now showing up, though. Dravidians have a fully upgraded dock. That's fine. Elephants raiding in the north. Eco is starting to look okay again for Reilled. After all the elephant raids kind of took it off the rails a little bit. The fire ships really are not the best against these elephants, man. That's a lot of fire ships just pumping into these elephants. But what's the response here for unknown player? We do have Trebs now. This castle will fall, I think, for sure. Well, I say for sure. Bombard cannon is heading in. Maybe they can snipe the Trebs. We get one. No, well, repairs are coming in anyway, so one bombard cannon goes down. This is a replacement castle, by the way, for unknown player. I already lost the castle that started here and put a new one down. Going to go for a castle in the north. There is gold for the taking here, and also very forward farming eco. But Reilled's paying attention. Lots of cannon galleons to deny this castle. There's infantry here to kill the villagers. I don't think that castle is going to work out. It is Scorpions now for unknown player, which I think is a really good unit. Although Reilled does have the good... We just said Reilled has good siege micro, right? So maybe they're not the play. I don't know. Unknown player will finally get this castle up on the other side of the river, and he's going to start hoovering up some of Reilled's main gold. I like that. Getting spooky, though. There are no elephants on the field for unknown player. That's usually a bad sign. Able to take this gold, but this is like the only gold for unknown player. 22 of the 33 villagers on gold are right there for unknown player. I think some are here, which is really inefficient. Oh, and some are here, which is really inefficient. So gold income could be an issue if this castle falls for unknown player. Halbs will chase around the cannon galleons, though. Decent SO shots, but the cannon galleons have to run. And we're going for the barracks. Okay. Man, Unknown Player absolutely had a lot of chances in this one. But I feel like those chances are slowly dwindling down. It's a bit of an overboom for Reilled now. Especially if we're not going elephants. If you're going straight elephant, you can kind of get away with maybe not 160 villagers, but like a little bit more. But we're going like full champion, which you definitely do not need this many villagers for. So Reilled kind of keeping Unknown Player in the game a little bit just because of the overboom. Forward castle will fall for up. Still taking the gold for now, but the Trebs will also snipe the mining camp. And galleons are here to clear up the trebuchets, but they're not quite in time. And PC here for Reilled, but there's no gold left. It's all wood. This might be the last gold for up, is it? I think it is. Mer have okay trash options, but against an opponent with all the 5 relics and also still plenty of gold to take, pretty close to the main base. I think Reilled has this one. Villagers dying. Production is just not there for Unknown Player anymore. And all these barracks, so carefully constructed, will also go down to the champions. Decent trades on water for Unknown Player. As the army mobilized in the north, but bombard cannons might be able to snipe some trebs that were pulled out of position. Still, ground units beating up the navy. Hussar sniping the siege. These are good things to do. I think probably up needs to focus this now, right? I guess there's still a lot of gold you can deny on the main gold. You kind of have two options on this map, I think. I think you can either push down the middle and try to deny resources like this, or you play the map and get the relics, and I guess they've already hoovered up most of the resources down here. Making a mining camp up is on the very last gold pile. It completes after the gold is already mined through, though. So there's only stone left to take in the south. Still gold available for Reilled to take. Still the relics available for Reilled. More big halberds. Army is heading across the field, denies the gold pile here. Reilled also out of gold, has the relics, but nothing else. 0 on gold right now for Reilled. I think it's just this and this left, and neither are really available to him right now. 52 champions is the entire military basically for Reilled, which, to be fair, will do quite well now that the elephants have been made to go extinct for the most part. They're expensive cannon galleons, man. Chased down by the champions. They don't quite get them, as Unknown Player is going to try and quickly hoover up what remains of the gold here. But there's nowhere safe to run. Chased by the champions into the castle fire. Villagers cleared up on the gold. Only one trebuchet for Reilled, so the push can't really happen, but I think Unknown Player has been starved. More raids in the back. It's 265 to 128 eco KD, which is nutso. Reilled has killed almost 300 villagers from Unknown Player. That's crazy. Really good job. Kept sending the raids back in here, right? Like have infantry, anything, really. Whenever Reilled had some extra military hanging around the map, just kind of looped him around into the back of UnknownPlayer's eco. And I think there are just so many champions here. Generally, champion's not the best unit against elephants, but if you have enough of them, they can get the job done. Upselling stone. What's the... This is when you have to settle down a little bit, I think, and start thinking about what your win con is, right? You know you don't have the relics, so you can't just survive. You need to start to figure out what your win con is, and I think... Might be too late, but I think pushing up here and getting the relics would have been a great first start after realizing that this was a post-gold game. Reilled taking all the stone now from the middle. Where's the siege, Reilled? We have 4 bombard cannons stuck in the queue. They can't come out because there's no population space. But we need the siege to start pushing here. These are good raids again, though. UnknownPlayer is going to dip below 100 villagers for the first time in a while. I think we're cooked. I think this is game over for UnknownPlayer. Resource starved. The raid's been so good as well. Obviously, we're out of gold, but the raid's been so good as well. There's not even that many on farms or the woodlines anymore, so every resource is looking pretty tough for UnknownPlayer. Ooh, makes more two-handed swordsmen. I don't think that's how I would spend the gold. Bombard cannons are moving. Oh, they're getting sniped for free. I know you have the relics, Reilled, but these are expensive siege units, bro. We save a couple of them, though. There's more on the way. The final gold on the map is being mined out. More docks for Reilled. UnknownPlayer back over 100 villagers, but I don't know if it's going to last super long. Yeah, these raids are good. These raids are good, but what is the plan? What is the path for us through this nightmare to the other side? Okay, UnknownPlayer maybe has come to the realization that I also did, that we need to try to push for the north, but we need siege to do that, and we don't have... Actually, what's the market price? Does Up even have a market? Does Reilled have a market? Oof! The prices are so good still. UnknownPlayer needs to be hammering that market. There we go. Just as I thought of it, UnknownPlayer thinks about it. There's so much gold for the taking in that marketplace. These are great raids. Reilled feels like a couple times this game now, Reilled has not been able to look at his eco getting raided while he's also trying to take these fights at the front. So again, if certain Div 10 peeps are still hanging around, that's another thing to maybe take note of. Raiding could be potentially a good option. Castle will fall for UnknownPlayer. I mean, rating's always a good option, but, you know, some players react to the rating faster than others. Therissidae now clogging up the waters forward. Castle for Reilled. There are scorpions here for UnknownPlayer. Can the Therissidae defend the castle enough for it to go up? I think the answer is yes. Reilled's still hoovering up stone in the middle. Still has 200 gold left to take. Castle will go up for Reilled forward. And the Scorpions are getting sniped out. These Scorpions are so expensive. Reilled obliterates the market now. So the prices are not nearly so good anymore. And it's thinking about ending the game with a double castle drop. One top side, one bottom side. Let's see. UnknownPlayer is housed at 165. Will not be able to deny that castle. I don't know if we even want this castle, to be honest, from Reilled. I don't know what this castle is protecting anymore. We know there's not really a wood line left over here. Even. Bombard cannons trying to snipe these Scorpions, but they are sniped by the Scorpions. Nice job there. UnknownPlayer maybe could push this back somehow, some way. Cannon Galleon still working away at the castle. Yeah, the GG has to be called. There's just no more res left. And Reilled takes game 3 with... technically... Do we give this to him? Unelite Dravidian Battle Elephants? Can we count this as a Dravidian Battle Elephant victory? Reilled did open with them. Welcome in game 4. Reilled has won the set, but it's a play all, and every point does matter. So, we're here on Thames for game 4. It is the Grajaras here for UnknownPlayer, interesting. And it is the Georgians for Reilled, so I was incorrect on both counts, but... Grajara Spearman opening for UnknownPlayer, no... Not the Imperial Age Spearmen. There aren't very many civs where you can make Spearmen in DM, but the Grajaras are one of them. Oof. Well, alright. It's at least a cheap unit that can maybe keep your opening villagers safe. Maybe not, though. Reilled kills one with the scout. Okay, we're switching on to Dravidian Elephant Archers, which is correct. UnknownPlayer going for two-handed swordsman again. That might be a misclick. Although all of this should have been a misclick, really. You should probably never make anything out of the Grajara barracks, right? It's really bad. They have nothing in there. Don't ever even make a barracks if you're the Grajaras. Spearmen going forward, though. They will not be in time to deny this town center. Very sad. Almost, though. They do kill a villager underneath it, though. Also, some stuff is going down in Reiled's economy. I don't know what happened here. Well, there's a lot of villagers kind of chilling out instead of making anything. So maybe gives UnknownPlayer some time to get the base in order. When you get castles up, Elephantos and Camels are a very strong composition for the Grajaras. Georgians look to want to be mainly on Halb Siege, which is good for the Georgians. A bit of housing issues on both sides. It is a global crisis, housing crisis, so, you know, makes sense. Worth noting, UnknownPlayer does have the Northern Monument, which gives him extra pop space, which he needed as well, so it's actually really good that that came in. Cavalier kill some villagers, but will not deny the town center. Camels come from the north. They're going to at least briefly deny this castle. They're fighting the Halbs, which is not good, but they do kill quite a few villagers. It's 8-5 eco KD, still in Reiled's favor, but still lots of vital eco in here for Reilled. Thinking about a castle in the north is Reilled, interesting. We've still got the Spearmen here. They're soaking up damage from the Halbs, easy. Kind of. They still really do die to the Halbs, but Halbs in these numbers have to back up a little bit. But Reilled, again, same issue as last game, right? Reilled finally gets the siege out, maybe a little bit too late, but didn't sustain that much damage in the meantime. And we've got what has been good siege micro so far up against the elephants, which is what they most fear, is good siege micro. Alps fighting camels. I think it's too many camels for a couple of cavalier. Like, yeah, the Georgians can make Manaspa. I think they usually should make Manaspa, but they don't have to. They can just be siege infantry for the most part, so overcommitting the camels maybe a little bit here. I think just pumping gold into elephants and siege is fine here for the Gujaras. Obviously sometimes you want the camels, but I think you wait, in this matchup in particular, you wait to see the cavalry mass, right? Neither player has really been able to take control over the south, which is where pretty much all the gold and stone on the map is. So it's still ripe for the taking, as the SO is forced back, but is not cleared up. Elephant archers are just kind of waddling through the middle of the map instead of protecting the siege. So the trebuchets might go down. Alps don't finish the job. Cavalier are going to try. Here comes the SO. There's not many elephants left on the field for UnknownPlayer. And they are getting smashed by the SO mass. Oof. These are expensive losses for UnknownPlayer. There is still a trebuchet up somehow, but it goes down now. And Georgians can repair for quite a while. Building repairs cost 25% less. Great attack ground for Reilled, man. It feels like a cheat code when you're able to lob in attacks like this. Oof. I think you need to ban out... Wasn't Reilled? Reilled banned out more siege civs than Up did, which is weird. I feel like Reilled has really good siege micro. So another thing I'm taking away from this, if I'm in this division, is maybe ban out as many of the good siege civs as you can against Reilled. Has gone a little bit far away from the siege mass, though. A couple Hussar roll in, and they're going to snipe quite a few SO, actually. Wait a minute. Could be a big reversal here. SO do pull back into the castle, but all but 2 of them die. Castle for Reilled will go up just because there's not enough military here. Cavalry finally arrived. Now all the camels are dead, unfortunately. So there's not a great answer for the Manaspa anymore for UnknownPlayer. Oh, there's really not a good answer to the Manaspa. They're butchering the Hussar. They are absolutely butchering the Hussar that are trying to come back here to stop them. We're having to chase with elephants, which feels really bad. Castle denied for UnknownPlayer. TC denied for UnknownPlayer. Ah, man. There were opportunities in this game. There were as well. Hey, Chipmunk, how's it going? There were opportunities in this one for UnknownPlayer, but I think it's cooked. Reilled has control over the north and has already kind of fortified it. Could still lose the Albert Hall, but it doesn't really give UnknownPlayer anything because the pop space just isn't there. Is this live? No, this is a rec from, what did I say, yesterday? The day before? We were going to cast a live set, but again, the curse of me casting Division 11 sets apparently is a real thing. For Up, yeah, it's been a tough season so far for Up. He did have a good showing against Zardos, which I was happy to see, but Reilled is a beast, man. Reilled is really good as well. I don't think there's any shame in losing to Reilled. His starts are still a bit iffy, but his like actual micro is really good. He plays the map really well as you go into the mid game. I think he does a really good job. He just needs to tighten the openings a little bit. Gurjara, two-handed swordsman. As the skirms and the elephants get obliterated behind. And swordsmen are kind of sniping the siege, but... well, okay. One player still trying to get some gold here, but another brutal castle by Reilled will deny that one as well. Up was having a tough go, just waiting for you to have a worse one. Is this pass? I don't know. I mean, I only did a tiny bit of training / practice with Spaz, but you seemed good in that. I think that was the first day either of us played DM, so I don't know where we've both gone since then, but felt like you were pretty solid. Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so Baz has been biding time. Biding time and is suddenly ready to play all the sets. There's a GG call. I think that is a deserved GG. Reilled takes game 4, just commanding map control, which is a game-winning situation on this map. If you lose total control over the south, you are just dead, I think. Welcome in game 5, Reilled versus UnknownPlayer. We're here on Terrace. It is the Saracens for Reilled. It's the Chinese for UnknownPlayer. Chinese are a great DM civ, but for their water tech tree, not for their land. So I'm very curious to see what the game plan is here for up. It's a stable opening, but only one, and then barracks. I think it has to be Chukanu, Halb, Rocket Cart. I think that has to be the composition for the Chinese on land, but Saracens with the even better SO, and okay, one villager there for Reilled. Nice snipe. Again, the openings, there's possibilities here, right? I feel like UnknownPlayer isn't really a rusher. He likes to sit back and build stuff up first, but I think there's a lot of possibility to rush Reilled down. This has not been possible in this particular set. Chinese is fine on land. Chinese is not standard on this map, no. You still start with the extra villagers for the Chinese, so it's a bit of a faster opening, but I don't think Chinese are particularly good on any land map. That is a bold castle. Let's see if it pays off. I don't think it's going to. The issue with the Chinese is they just don't have very many. Like, their only good units that are fully upgraded gold units are Chukanu and Rocket Carts. And foot archers, even though the Chukanu can be quite good, foot archers just aren't the best in DM. And do they have a bonus for the Rocket Cart? 25 plus 20. Yeah, I guess so. Plus 25% attack on the Rocket Carts. Maybe that's okay. It's very dependent. I don't know. I think we need to bank up some military here, though. Throwing the Chukanu straight into the straight into the champions rather is tough. Yeah, Scorpions, but they don't have siege engineers, which is really tough for both their Rocket Carts and their Scorpions, right? So like anything that has a halfway decent onager kind of beats their siege, which is most things in DM. So they can be really good, but I think they have a lot of bad matchups. I have seen fairly high-level players pull off big two-canoe masses. Don't know if I've seen it in the lower divisions. That's true too. Damage is not necessarily the issue with rocket cards, right? The GG is called, yeah. There's no way that's gonna work. Yeah, that's another good point, right? Like, the range is more important than the damage, I think, which is why Korean rocket cards are so good. So lacking even the siege engineer range is really tough for the Chinese. All right, Reilled takes game 5. We just kind of talked about how bad the Chinese are on land that entire game. But it is what it is, I suppose. Reilled takes the 5-0.